Hey everyone, let's talk about math. Does that word sometimes make you feel a little nervous? Well, I'm here to tell you that math is actually pretty awesome. It's not just about numbers and boring problems in a textbook. Math is like a secret code that helps you understand the world. It's a tool, a superpower even, that you can use every single day. Think about your favorite video game, or baking a yummy cake, or even knowing if you have enough money for that cool toy. Guess what? Math is involved in all of those things. It's all around us, helping things make sense, and it can be super fun to learn. You might be thinking, why do you need math? That's a great question. Math helps your brain grow stronger. It teaches you how to solve problems, not just math problems, but any kind of puzzle life throws at you. When you work through a math challenge, you're training your mind to think logically and carefully. This skill is super valuable for everything. Whether you want to be a doctor, an artist, a chef, or an astronaut, math will be your trusty sidekick. It opens up so many doors and helps you understand cool things about science, technology, and even art and music. So get ready to unlock this amazing skill. Learning math is like learning to ride a bike. At first it might seem wobbly and a little tricky. You might fall down a few times, and that's totally okay, everyone does. The important thing is to get back up and try again. Each time you practice, you get a little bit better, a little more confident. Soon, you'll be cruising along without even thinking about it. Math is the same way. The more you explore it and play with numbers, the easier and more natural it becomes. It's not about being born a math person, it's about practice and believing you can do it. So let's kick those math fears to the curb. This guide is here to show you that math can be easy to understand and even exciting. We're going to break things down into simple steps. We'll use fun examples you can relate to. Forget about confusing jargon and scary formulas for now. We're going back to basics and building a strong, positive foundation. Are you ready to see math in a whole new light? I know you can do this, and I'm excited to help you on this journey. Let's start having some fun with numbers. Alright, let's jump into the super basics. Adding and subtracting. These are the building blocks for so much in math. Think of adding as bringing things together. If you have 2 yummy cookies and your friend gives you 1 more, how many cookies do you have in total? You add them up. So 2 cookies plus 1 cookie equals 3 cookies. See? You're already doing math. Adding is all about combining groups to find out the total amount. It's like making your collection of toys bigger, or figuring out how many points your team scored in a game by putting everyone's scores together. It's a really handy skill for everyday life. Now let's talk about subtracting. Subtraction is like taking things away. Imagine you have 5 bright balloons, but one of them floats away into the sky. How many balloons are left? You subtract. So 5 balloons minus 1 balloon equals 4 balloons. Subtraction helps us find out what's remaining or the difference between 2 amounts. Maybe you want to know how much money you'll have left after buying a comic book, or how many days are left until your birthday. That's where subtraction comes in to save the day. It's the opposite of adding, helping us make sense of when things get smaller or are taken away. How can you get really good at adding and subtracting? Practice is key, but it can be fun. You can use your fingers to count when you're starting out. That's totally fine. Many great mathematicians started that way. You can also use small objects like buttons, beads, or even pieces of cereal to help you see the numbers. If you have 3 buttons and you add 2 more, you can physically move them together and count them all. This makes it real and easy to see. For subtraction, you can start with a group of objects and then take some away to see what's left. The more you play with these ideas, the faster you'll become. You can make games out of it. How many red cars do you see on the way to school? If you see 3 more, how many is that? Or, if you have 10 grapes and you eat 4, how many are left for your snack? Turn everyday moments into little math challenges. Soon, you'll be adding and subtracting numbers in your head like a superstar. Remember, every time you practice, you're building those important math muscles in your brain, making them stronger and quicker for all sorts of cool calculations. Ready for the next step? Let's explore multiplying and dividing. These might sound a bit more grown-up, but they are super useful and not as tricky as you think. Multiplication is like super fast adding. Imagine you want to give 3 candies to each of your 4 friends. You could add 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. Or you can multiply. 4 friends times 3 candies each equals 12 candies in total. Multiplication helps us when we have equal groups of things and we want to find the total quickly. It's like saying 4 groups of 3. It saves you a lot of time compared to adding over and over again, especially with bigger numbers. Now, what about dividing? Division is all about sharing equally or splitting things into groups. Let's say you have that big pile of 12 candies we just talked about. and you want to share them equally among your 4 friends. How many candies does each friend get? You divide. 12 candies divided by 4 friends equals 3 candies each. Division helps us figure out how many are in each group or how many groups we can make. It's like asking, how many 4s are there in 12? It's the reverse of multiplication, and it's super important for fairness and making sure everyone gets their share. Why are these skills so important? Well, think about baking cookies. If a recipe says you need 2 cups of flour, but you want to make double the amount of cookies, you'll need to multiply the flour by 2. That's 2 cups times 2 equals 4 cups of flour. Or, if you're planning a party and you have 20 game tokens to share among 5 guests, you'll divide 20 tokens by 5 guests to find out that each guest gets 4 tokens. See? Multiplying and dividing pop up all the time when you're cooking, shopping, planning, or even playing games. They help us scale things up or break them down fairly. One of the best ways to get good at multiplication is to learn your times tables. It might seem like a bit of work, but it's like learning the alphabet for reading. It makes everything else so much easier. There are lots of fun songs and games to help you remember them. For division, understanding that it's the opposite of multiplication is a big help. If you know that 3 times 4 equals 12, then you also know that 12 divided by 4 equals 3 and 12 divided by 3 equals 4. It's like a little family of facts. Keep practicing and soon these operations will feel like second nature to you. Now let's talk about something really cool, fractions. The word fraction might sound a little serious, but it's just a way to talk about parts of a whole thing. Imagine you have a delicious pizza. If you cut it into slices, each slice is a fraction of the whole pizza. So, if you cut your pizza into 8 equal slices and you eat 1 slice, you've eaten 1/8 of the pizza. Fractions help us describe amounts that are not whole numbers. They are super useful when we need to be precise about sharing or measuring things that don't divide perfectly into whole units. When you see a fraction, like that 1/8, it has 2 parts. The bottom number is called the denominator. This number tells you how many equal parts the whole thing has been divided into. So, for our pizza, the denominator is 8 because there are 8 total slices. The top number is called the numerator. This number tells you how many of those parts you are talking about. In our example, the numerator is 1 because you ate 1 slice. So 1/8 means 1 out of 8 equal parts. It's like saying 1 part of the 8 parts available. Visualizing fractions makes them much easier to understand. Think about a chocolate bar that has 4 squares. If you eat 1 square, you've eaten 1/4 of the chocolate bar. If you eat 2 squares, you've eaten 2/4, which is also the same as 1/2 of the bar. You can draw pictures of circles, squares, or rectangles and divide them into equal parts to practice seeing fractions. This hands-on approach helps your brain connect the numbers to a real picture, making it much less abstract and way more fun to learn about these important number pieces. Fractions are everywhere in real life. When you're following a recipe, you might see instructions like add 1/2 cup of sugar, or bake for 3/4 of an hour. When you're measuring wood for a project, you might need a piece that's 2 1/3 feet long. Even telling time involves fractions. Half an hour is 1/2 of an hour. Understanding fractions helps you cook better, build things more accurately, and even understand sales like half price off. They are a fundamental part of math that makes everyday tasks much smoother and more manageable for everyone. Section 5. Dashing decimals, points of precision. Let's dive into the world of decimals. Decimals are another way to show parts of a whole number, just like fractions. You've definitely seen them before, especially when you look at prices in a store. That little dot you see between numbers, that's called a decimal point. For example, if something costs $2.50, the 0.50 part is the decimal. It means 50 cents or half of a dollar. Decimals are super helpful because they let us be very precise with numbers, especially when we're dealing with money or measurements that need to be exact. They make working with parts of numbers really straightforward. The decimal point is like a special marker. All the numbers to the left of the decimal point are whole numbers like 1, 2, 10, or 100. The numbers to the right of the decimal point show the parts of a whole. The first spot to the right of the decimal point is for tenths. So 0.1 means 1/10. The second spot is for hundredths, so 0.01 means 1/100th. Think about money. $1.50 means 1 whole dollar and 50 hundredths of a dollar, which is 50 cents. It's a system that helps us represent values smaller than 1 in a clear and organized way. Connecting decimals to money is one of the easiest ways to understand them. Imagine you have $1, that's $1.00. If you have a quarter, that's 25 cents or $0.25. A dime is 10 cents or $0.10. A nickel is 5 cents or $0.05. And a penny is 1 cent or $0.01. When you add these up, you're using decimals. If you buy something for $3.75 and pay with a $5 bill, the change you get will also involve decimals. So you're already a decimal expert from handling your allowance or shopping money. This real-world connection makes decimals much less intimidating. We use decimals all the time, not just for money. When you measure your height, it might be something like 1.45 meters. When a race car driver finishes a lap, their time might be 58.32 seconds. Scientists use decimals for very precise measurements in experiments. Even when you fill up your family car with gas, the pump shows the amount in gallons or liters using decimals like 10.5 gallons. Understanding decimals helps you make sense of all these numbers in the world around you, making you a more informed and savvy consumer and observer of how things are measured. Section 6. Powerful percentages, parts of a whole. Next up are percentages. You see percentages everywhere, on sale signs at your favorite store, on your phone showing its battery life, or even on food labels. The word percent actually means per hundred. So, when you see a number followed by the percent sign, percent, it's telling you how many parts out of 100 you're talking about. For example, 50% means 50 out of 100. If a t-shirt is 50% off, it means you save 50 cents for every dollar of the original price, which is half the price. Percentages are a really useful way to understand proportions. Understanding some common percentages makes life easier. For example, 100% means the whole thing. If your phone battery is at 100%, it's fully charged. 50% means exactly half. If you eat 50% of a pizza, you've eaten half of it. 25% means 1/4. If a game is 25% complete, you finished 1/4 of it. And 10% means 1/10. A 10% discount on a $10 item means you save $1. Getting comfortable with these basic benchmarks will help you quickly estimate and understand percentages when you see them out and about. Percentages are super handy in real life. When stores have sales, they often advertise discounts like 20% off or save 30%. Knowing what these mean helps you figure out how much money you'll save and if it's a good deal. When you're looking at your test scores, they're often given as a percentage, like 85 out of 100 questions correct is 85%. Even when people talk about statistics like 60% of people prefer chocolate ice cream, they're using percentages to make the information easy to compare and understand. They are a universal language for parts of a whole. Here's a cool tip. Fractions, decimals, and percentages are all related. They are just different ways of talking about the same parts of a whole. For example, 1/2, fraction, is the same as 0.5 decimal, which is the same as 50% percentage. Knowing how to switch between them can be really helpful. For instance, to change a decimal to a percentage, you just multiply by 100, or move the decimal point 2 places to the right, and add the percent sign. So, 0.25 becomes 25%. Understanding these connections makes you a flexible math thinker. Section 7. Shaping up, a peek into geometry. Let's explore the wonderful world of shapes with basic geometry. Geometry is the part of math that studies shapes, sizes, positions of figures, and properties of space. It sounds fancy, but you've been playing with geometry since you were tiny. Think about building blocks. You were learning about cubes and rectangles. When you draw a smiley face, you're using circles and lines. Geometry is all around us in the buildings we see, the toys we play with, and even in nature. It helps us describe and understand the physical world in a very visual way. We can start with some basic shapes that you probably already know. There's the square, with its 4 equal sides and 4 right angles, like a slice of cheese. Then there's the circle, perfectly round, like a CD or the top of a glass. Triangles are cool too, with their 3 sides and 3 angles. They can come in many different forms, like a slice of pizza or a sail on a boat. Rectangles have 4 sides too, like squares, but their opposite sides are equal, like a door or a book. Knowing their names and what makes them special is the first step in geometry. 2 important ideas in geometry are perimeter and area. The perimeter is the distance all the way around the outside of a shape. Imagine you want to put a fence around your rectangular garden. You would need to measure the length of all 4 sides and add them together to find the perimeter. This tells you how much fencing material you need It's like taking a walk along all the edges of the shape and measuring how far you walked. It's a very practical measurement for many real-world tasks like framing a picture or bordering a room. Area, on the other hand, tells you how much space a flat shape covers on the inside. If you want to lay new carpet in your square bedroom, you need to know its area to buy the right amount of carpet. For a rectangle or a square, you can find the area by multiplying its length by its width. This tells you how many square units, like square inches or square feet, can fit inside the shape. Understanding area helps with things like painting a wall, tiling a floor, or even figuring out how much wrapping paper you need for a gift. Geometry truly helps us measure and build our world. Section 8. Solving puzzles. Your first look at algebra. Get ready for a bit of math detective work with algebra. Algebra might sound like a big scary topic, but at its heart, it's all about finding unknown values and solving puzzles. It uses letters like X or Y to stand in for numbers that we don't know yet. Think of it like a mystery X marks the spot where the hidden number is. If you see an equation like x plus 3 equals 7, algebra helps you figure out what number x must be to make the statement true. In this case, x would be 4 because 4 plus 3 equals 7. It's like a fill-in-the-blanks game with numbers. These simple equations are like little puzzles. Your job is to be the detective and find the value of the missing letter. The key is to keep things balanced. Whatever you do to one side of the equals sign, you must also do to the other side to keep the equation true. So, in our x plus 3 equals 7 example, if we want to find x, we need to get it by itself. We can subtract 3 from the left side, x plus 3 minus 3, which just leaves x, but to keep it balanced, we also have to subtract 3 from the right side, 7 minus 3. So, x equals 4. It's all about logical steps. Why is algebra important? Well, it's like a secret code that helps us describe relationships between different things. It's used in so many fields, from science and engineering to computer programming and economics. Even if you don't become a scientist, learning basic algebra helps you think more logically and solve problems in a structured way. It trains your brain to look for patterns and to break down complex problems into smaller, more manageable parts. These are skills that are super useful in almost any job or situation you can think of in your future. Starting with simple algebra is like learning the basic moves in a dance or the first chords on a guitar. These are the building blocks for more advanced math later on, if you choose to explore it. But even these first steps can be really rewarding. Every time you solve for X or figure out a little algebraic puzzle, you're boosting your problem-solving confidence. So don't be intimidated by those letters. Just see them as exciting clues in a number mystery that you are perfectly capable of solving with a bit of practice and logical thinking. Section 9. Math all around you and your journey to Math Whiz. Wow, we've covered so much ground from basic adding to the beginnings of algebra. As you can see, math isn't just something you do in a classroom, it's truly all around you every single day. When you're helping with grocery shopping, you use math to compare prices or to count out money. When you're baking your favorite cookies, you use fractions and measurements. When you're figuring out how much time until your favorite TV show starts, that's math too. Even playing sports involves math, like keeping score or understanding angles for a good shot. Recognizing these moments makes math feel more real and useful. So, how can you keep growing your math skills and become a true math whiz? The most important tip is to practice regularly. Just like playing an instrument or learning a sport, the more you practice math, the better you'll get. Don't be afraid to ask questions. If something doesn't make sense, ask a teacher, a parent, or a friend. There are also tons of amazing resources out there, like fun math websites, educational apps, and cool books that can make learning feel like a game. Find what works for you and make learning an adventure. One of the biggest secrets to mastering math is to not be afraid of making mistakes. Mistakes are not failures, they are actually super important learning opportunities. When you get a problem wrong, it gives you a chance to figure out what happened and learn from it. Think of each mistake as a stepping stone on your path to understanding. Everyone makes mistakes when they're learning something new, even the smartest mathematicians. So be patient with yourself, celebrate your progress, and keep a positive attitude. Your mindset is a powerful tool. Remember, you absolutely can do math. It's a skill that anyone can learn and improve with effort and the right approach. It's not about being born good or bad at it. It's about being curious, persistent, and willing to try. I hope this guide has shown you that math can be understandable, relatable, and even fun. Keep exploring, keep practicing, and keep believing in yourself. You're already on your way to becoming a confident math explorer, and I'm so excited for all the amazing things you'll discover. Go get 'em, math superstar.